Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, The Real Super Sam. Today is another new video and I hope you enjoy. Untold Tales of Spider-Man is another Spider-Man series, although this one has events that happen in between the early issues of The Amazing Spider-Man that we never knew of before. For example, the time Spider-Man fought Sandman for the second time. This issue takes place right after Amazing Spider-Man issue 7 and Strange Tales issue 115, which both came out December 1963. In Strange Tales, the Human Torch fought the Sandman alone and defeated him, and in Amazing Spider-Man issue 7, Peter Parker and Betty Brant began a tiny romantic relationship. This story takes place after Sandman has escaped the armored car he was being driven to jail in and goes back to robbing banks. Anyway, surprisingly, when Spider-Man shows up, Sandman says he has no hard feelings against the Webhead, since the Human Torch also defeated him too, and so he won't waste his time getting revenge or something like that. But Spider-Man has to stop the criminals still, and Sandman attacks, knocking Spider-Man around and escaping quite easily. Throughout the day, Sandman is on one of the biggest crime sprees ever, as no cops, alarm systems, or even the Avengers can stop him. I especially like how it shows him escaping by being the ground beneath the Avengers' feet. The second big part of this story is the date between Peter and Betty. The date doesn't go so well, as Betty can see that something is on Pete's mind. Pete, this whole week, with Sandman out free, is worrying about having to fight him again, since Sandman has beaten him up now, just like when Dr. Octopus did it in Amazing Spider-Man issue 3. Betty Brant gives Peter his self-confidence back during the date, saying he shouldn't give up on himself like someone she once knew did, referring to her brother. Sandman reminds me a lot of a Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon version, and I like that. I was even considering this being on my top 5 best Sandman stories, but Sandman has a small, but very great moments, and his personality shines, not just at the start, but how his relationship with Spider-Man becomes more personal as Spidey beats him again, and this time very brutally. Well, as brutal as you can for a Sandman. Spider-Man uses his brains to defeat the foe here again, by dodging and quickly turning on all the switches to turn on a giant turbine behind him that spreads his sandy body out over the whole city in an explosion by the turbine. I really like the art style here, and it complements Sandman's powers. Since the picture I'm showing on screen, I'll talk about how it reminds me of Amazing Spider-Man 23, when Spider-Man is joking while fighting Green Goblin, and Green Goblin actually says that it was distracting him. The same thing happens here, except it makes Sandman really mad, and mad enough to make careless mistakes. The story ends off with Peter Parker always having to put Spider-Man before himself, and that way he will be the best man he wants himself to be. It is a good moment, and I think it works best in the flashback story also. First time I read this was when Sandman was my favorite Spider-Man villain, so I've kept this as a special issue in my head forever. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.